I wanted to explain this real quick, what I meant about the headers had to be cut for the motor, and then they're re-angled in. The front end parts, you can see this is twisted, and this one's heated and twisted that way. That way the header's clear, and then they angle in heavy and clear because they wouldn't clear any of this stuff. And they're only an inch off of everything, even down in here. And your gearbox for your steering's in the way. So they're custom made headers for that reason. Now, the front frame rails, they didn't reproduce for years, and the shock towers as well. And on this car, they were rotted off, so you couldn't hook your A-arm, because them are the A-arm bolts that hold your A-arm to your front wheels. So you couldn't even put the A-arms and the front wheels back on this car. It set 37 years into a field, and they stripped it because it was considered junk and sold the rare parts. And I'll explain that in a second. These frame rails have 1/4-inch steel on the top, sides, and bottom, as well as new frame rails. And then up here as well, because this car was raced and the front frame rails were bent up. And this was V'd up as well, because when it slammed down, the pressure up on these shock towers was bending the metal up. So I replaced all that and fixed it and put plating and everything in new frame rails and shock towers for that reason. Now let me explain why this car is rare. The GTX, you had to order a 426 Hemi with the 4-speed and the Dana rear end for this particular car. You could get a 440 hypo, or you could get a 318 in them. But see, it's a 4-speed. It's got the baby blue, which is what they came with when you had the Hemi in them, from what I know. Anyway, from the production sheets, it may not be a thing you had to have the blue, but you had to order the 426 Hemi. And from what I know, there was only 5 to 15 of them ever produced in the world. And this is one of them with a VIN code. It proves it had the Hemi 4-speed with a Dana rear end. Now, the rocker panels were cut open and plated with 1/4-inch steel on both sides because there was a frame rail put in them to make it a full frame, as well as the bar and the other one that comes over to your cross member, which is also your torsion bar cross member, which is the springs for your front end. He'll have a roll cage, a custom dash. It'll only be a race car. And like I say, they stripped it because it was rare, and they thought it was junk and set it in a field 37 years and sold the rare engine and all the rare trans and all the rare parts off this car.